like you said, he's got 3 rings, right? And just to clarify, none of those rings are with Toronto, right?
Is Fraser Minton going to have more points than Slafkovsky this year? Fraser Minton sucks at hockey. This guy might not even be an NHLer, so we got to settle down on that one.
Adelaide, no. Minus 160 on will they show her holding a drink in her hand.
They are 2 points behind the St. Louis Blues in the wild card, and they are.
Oh, the Blues are dog water. The Blues suck. The Blues are the worst of those 4 teams that I mentioned by a mile.
And
they're not a good hockey team.
Care, like have some set of balls, have some response, have some pride for what the hell goes on the ice. It's so absurd.
I'm looking forward to the parade, but that's going to be later in the year.
I'd rather have so money in that than have Alber Soderblom. I would rather stack a bunch of garbage that I have in the corner of my room over here than have Alber Soderblom in that. He's
March 25th, welcome back to Edgework presented by STX. I'm Zack Phillips, joined here today by Alex B. Smith. So Money Sports to kick off the week, start everything off on the right foot. Unfortunately here, boys, yet another day where we're going to have a light NHL schedule. Only 2 games ahead of us, but we'll break both of those down. We'll talk some Zach Hyman, 50 goals. Maybe, just maybe we'll talk some Coach of the Year, Jack Adams stuff. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind people, if you haven't already, you should head on over and sign up for the Stacks Betting Exchange. If you're sick of getting limited and profiled, Stacks is a unique sports betting exchange that offers higher limits and better pricing. Stacks offers a fair and real-time marketplace for users to bet on the outcome of sporting events, offering better odds in a peer-to-peer marketplace. Stacks is the best option for anyone who wants to wager on live sports. Make sure to add Stacks to your list of votes and sign up today. You can get commission-free trading when you sign up now. The option is yours at Stacks as well. If you want to join the conversation, if you're looking for people to fill positions, if you're looking for people to go opposite you, whatever it is, you can join the Discord there. You click on the link in our description. You can head on over to the Discord. No matter what sport you're looking to bet there, sign up, join the Discord, and join the conversation now. But make sure to sign up at Stacks. Guys, we did get ourselves back on the right foot there. We had a positive winning day. We go 2-2, but we end up in the green on Friday. Roll that over into Saturday. We go 4-3, but that's an 8.4% ROI on Saturday. So far in the season now, 310 wins, 323 losses, 12 pushes, 645 bets with a 2.6% ROI. We are up 17.1 units now on the year. So we had that little bit of a dip, but last couple of days heading in the right direction. We'll look to keep that going here tonight. And Alex B, you had yourself a pretty good weekend on top of what went on with the Edgework show here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday was a fantastic run. I hit the live draw and live money line of the Colorado Avalanche. We saw Pittsburgh come out hot and heavy and score 4 goals, and then you saw things just kind of regressing. And this is a Pittsburgh team that we've been talking about that's just been trending downhill. Certainly not. They know they're not going to the playoffs again for a second straight year. And Avalanche do what they do, come back, able to hit plus 390 live, able to hit plus 430 on the draw. And then to make things even sweeter, last night I took a shot with Sam Reinhart to get the first goal of the game in Florida and Philly, hit that at plus 950. So it was an absolute incredible Sunday.
Not too bad, and we'll look to keep some of that juju going from this weekend into today's bets. So Money, have you just been sweating out college basketball all weekend?
Yeah, it's been a good start to the tournament here. Just one of those things. Things are hitting right now, so that's good. Like I said last week, I couldn't name you one player. I'm learning the names of a couple of players, but yeah, before this tournament started, I wouldn't have been able to name you anybody. But such is the life. It's not about what you know; it's about how you bet it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and I don't know anyone either, but I've been fairly involved in the college basketball action that's been going on here. So same page. So Money, same page. Well, one thing I do want to discuss today, we'll save it towards the end of the show after we get into the games, is definitely the Zach Hyman 50 goals. And more specifically, in regards to the question that was posed, I saw it on Twitter, and I did put up a poll in the chat. So if you are looking to get involved in the conversation there today, obviously you post in the chat. We'll try to answer questions or anything. But if you head on over there, check out the poll that's being posted in the chat regarding how we should be viewing Zach Hyman's 50 goals and what it means for the milestone. So make sure to check that out, but we'll answer that and talk about it at the very end of the show. As for today, we do have 2 NHL games here, gentlemen, so let's get into it. Let's start in St. Louis, where the Blues are hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. You see St. Louis plus 129, best price available at Stacks, of course. The Vegas Golden Knights minus 140 here, total of 6. We see some 6.5s, plus money on the over on those as well. Some money. Do you have any opinions on the side or total?
Yeah, I did bet the under here. Unders with the Blues. It's no secret. I do like those quite a bit. I think that where we're getting the edge here is that Thompson is going to start. Obviously, Hill is the better option, but I don't think Thompson is as far off as he should be. So this is Blues can't generate much. Defensively, they're not great, but they have been getting goaltending for the most part. So the edge here comes in for me because of the slight overreaction to Hill not starting. So I did bet the over. I don't think that these teams are 5.5 total teams, but I do think that they're juiced under 6 teams, and getting a flat 6 or so flat 6 pretty much. I think that that's where there is the edge. So I did play the under 6 here.
Okay, so the under 6 minus 105 there will lock in as a first best bet of the day. And Alex B, you're looking to add to this card. You also have best bets for us here.
Yes, I do, and I like the draw in this spot. This is a classic draw season situation. Both teams desperately needing points to, try and get that second wild card spot. Obviously, Vegas is in the catbird seat at the moment, but they've been playing these kind of tight games lately. Was able to cash with them last week with against Seattle, a Seattle team that looked dead in the water to begin with, but they still let them hang around, and that's dangerous. That's why Vegas is in this spot that they are in right now, being a wild card team and on the fringe of possibly missing if things go wrong in the next few weeks. But I expect this to be a close game. You look at the series history; 2 of the last 4 meetings have gone past regulation, so it's kind of alternated. So if you go by the alternating kind of theory, this game would land on one being going past regulation. But I like this price here, plus 334 at Pinnacle. There's some other higher prices around in the galaxy if you shop around, but definitely that's a price worth. At this point of the year, anything plus 300 or higher is good value. So we'll be taking the draw here with Vegas and St. Louis.
Plus 334, add a second best bet to the card here for tonight. 2-1 game there. I mean, look, we got smaller amounts of games, but it doesn't mean that our bets are going to change. And as we've said before, sometimes bigger cards and small number of bets, but just because we're not going to force stuff. But if we've got them, we've got them. So 2 locked in here, and we will recap them all at the very end of the show as well. So don't worry about that. And you can also check it out in the BetStamp app in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. Now, moving on to the main event of the night, at least for some people here on the show. Vancouver Canucks hosting the LA Kings. Vancouver, yet again, best price available at Stacks, minus 123. The LA Kings, plus 112, again at Stacks. And total of 5.5 right across the board. So, Money, go to you first here. Set this one up for us. Vancouver Canucks tonight hosting the LA Kings. Take us through this matchup and where the price is at, whether you think that this one is in the right spot right now.
Yeah, so it's an important game because something can happen tonight that hasn't happened since 2015. The Canucks can actually clinch a playoff spot, right? The bubble obviously doesn't count because they played in the play-in, right? So we have to go all the way back to 2015 for the last time the Canucks had a X beside their name, right? So it's a big night. It's a momentous night for us, right? And I don't think it can be overestimated. So I'm looking forward to that. In terms of the price on the side, I think it's fair. Canucks, they are priced where they need to be priced right now. The total is a little bit tough. We're seeing flat 5.5, so that kind of takes it out of range here a little bit. I did like the under, but I do think that LA's goaltending still a bit inconsistent. The Canucks, we talked about the Canucks extensively on the Friday show, as we do most shows actually. But on Friday we did touch on that. They're playing so strong defensively, right? And like in front of Casey DeSmith, and he's holding his own. He's fine, right? Especially because of how insulated he is within that lineup. So Canucks are a dead under team, but 5.5 makes it a little bit tough here. A plus money 5.5, I would have been okay with. Obviously, a juice 6, I would have been okay with, but I think it's at this moment is slightly out of range. If it does get back to a plus money 5.5, I would recommend that. But right now, I think that we just need to wait it out.
Okay, so not there yet for somebody to be able to make a play in this one, but kind of close. And as you can tell there, we're what direction we might need this one to head in if we're going to have any action from So Money. But Alex B, you are ready to make a bet in this one.
Yeah, and it's rinse and repeat basically with the draw here. It's also kind of predicated toward I'm leaning toward the under, but like say 5.5 and a flat 5.5 price at that. It kind of deters me off a little bit, but you look at the series history, it's been mostly unders. But you've also seen 4 of the last 8 meetings go past regulation as well. So a low and slow kind of game. That's something that would draw me toward the draw, pun intended. In a game like this, both teams just want to get points, except Vancouver wanting to get their points to secure that they're going to be in the postseason. Of course, LA still trying to fight off Vegas, so they'll be probably scoreboard watching just a teeny bit as well, with that being the only other game going on. So it feels like it's going to be a kind of a close and low scoring game, and that's leading me toward the draw.
So draw plus 316, full unit on this one as well. So there you go. 3 best bets for tonight's games. We'll recap everything that we give out at the very end of the show, but that's it for tonight's games and tonight's best bets. Now, I posed the question in the chat. I put it up as a poll there. There's 2 options, and it was because of something I'd seen on Twitter this morning when I was going through. And last night, obviously, Zach Hyman hits the 50-goal mark on the season. And when we talk about he came through here in Toronto, and everyone's talking about the impact that he makes playing on Connor McDavid's line, how useful he is there to a guy like McDavid, to guys like Draisaitl, and reaches that 50-goal mark for the first time. This was the question that was posed, and I thought it was interesting. I don't agree, but I did think it was kind of interesting conversation, especially now you're seeing all the charts and everything, more from a comical standpoint, I guess. But it was posed that the Zach Hyman 50 goals and Sam Reinhart now following it up with 50 goals makes the 50-goal mark a little less meaningful, that he has got this. I posted in the chat. Does Hyman getting 50 make the accomplishment less meaningful? 91% of viewers right now say no, still incredible. 9% saying yes, anyone can do it now. So, Money, what are your thoughts on Zach Hyman hitting 50 and what this means for that milestone as a whole?
That 9% is way, way too high. Of course it means a lot. It's a big deal, right? Like, and it's tricky when you start comparing through eras, because you're always going to find stuff that was easier or harder in previous eras, right? So
yeah,
a lot of times you talk now with people and they say that it's like easier to score now, like everything is like geared towards offense and stuff. Well, have you guys seen the games from the 80s, right? Like you had lineups filled with plumbers, right? So like you had guys scoring goals against literal plumbers on the 3rd and 4th lines of their opponents. Have you seen the size of the goalies' pads? Right? Like they were basically wearing shin pads. They were flopping all over the place, right? There was nothing technical about the goaltenders' games back then, right? You look now, right? Everybody is bigger and stronger. Everybody can score through the lineup, right? There's no, besides New Jersey getting McDermott, there's nobody on these teams that cannot score a goal, right? So you have scoring throughout the lineup. Everybody can score. Goaltenders are bigger, stronger, highly technical. Mm-hmm. Yes, it does mean a lot for you to score 50 goals, and not anybody can do it, right? So that 9%, I mean, like almost 1 out of every 10 person thinks it's not a big deal. That's way too high, and that's just frankly ridiculous.
If you were one of those 9% of people, give your head a shake right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I mean, you look at I just looked up a quick list. As a completion of last season, there's only been 96 players to do this. Now it's happened over 250 times, so you've had a lot of those same players, accomplishing this feat multiple times over the years. But 96 players in over 105 years of the NHL. That's that's still a pretty elite group, and that's still an incredible feat to have 50 goals in a season. One, especially now when you have guys that get hurt left and right. Can't stay healthy for, longer than 60, 65 games. So to just be able to play enough games to get to score 50 goals is an accomplishment these days. So yeah, that's asinine in my opinion. I don't think, anything light about, he scored 50 goals. Like I said, we're seeing the best goaltending in the world in the last 20 years as far as what we saw in the 70s and 80s. Those guys were wearing, 25-pound deer hair pads. They couldn't make big saves most of the time so they wanted to. So no, this is still an incredible feat. It will still be an incredible feat for years to come.
All right, final thing here I want to ask you guys before you get out. Obviously, the futures cards and futures portfolios have been something that we've continued to add to on the show or discuss and bring up, and hopefully people have been able to find stuff. We talked about Carberry and Panthers futures and teams to make or miss playoffs, all that kind of stuff. Have you added anything over this weekend? We last talked to you on Friday. There's so many. I think we only briefly touched on any futures stuff. Have you added anything? Are there any prices out there right now that are piquing your interest? Did college basketball take up too much of your time Saturday, Sunday? Like, what's going on with your futures card right now, Somebody?
Yeah, so I didn't add anything. Actually, no, that's incorrect. I did add something. Sorry, 1 second here.
There you go. That's why I ask.
Yeah, I played Tampa Bay to win the East. Couple of reasons here. I think that it was the pricing, right? I think that they're a team that's kind of flying under the radar. The pricing was there. I'm just going to bring up what the current odds are here. But I got it at 11-1. Pricing made sense, especially because like they're the team that was the lowest priced of the teams that I thought possibly have a chance to come onto the East, right? So they're flying under the radar. Depending on the first round matchup, I mean, it could be the Rangers, who are not scary, but they just find a way, so it could be the Rangers, and they're a team that there's a pedigree there, and they are starting to tighten up defensively, which is the way that they need to play. We know they can score, but they haven't been playing as well in front of Vasilevsky, who is slowly starting to find his form, and also Tampa Bay's dealt with some injuries in the back end, which has also skewed their numbers as well. So when we look at Tampa Bay's defensive numbers, and before we write them off as a team that can't play playoff defensive hockey anymore, we need to keep in mind that they've had some important pieces out in the back end. So once they get back, they get insulated. The team has the pedigree. I still give all the benefit and the doubt in the world to Tampa Bay as well. So, sorry, to Vasilevsky. So I like Tampa Bay, bet them to win the East, and the East is wide open, right? Like, I mean, besides Carolina, who is number two, right? Yeah, probably the Rangers. Carolina is the best team there, and then it's completely wide open. So at that price, I did take Tampa Bay there.
Oh, good thing I asked. Alex, what are your thoughts on where the East is currently sitting at, and have you been able to add anything yourself?
I haven't had anything of note in the last week or so, but just to kind of, maybe give a counterpoint to Tampa Bay winning the East. Like I said, okay, they're going to be a wild card team. So they're more than likely either going to draw, like I said, the Rangers, Boston, or Florida, depending on who wins out of the Atlantic. Now, if I see a Florida Tampa Bay matchup, and I think back to when those teams last played in the playoffs a couple of years ago, that was the whole where Tampa hopped out to a 3-0 series lead. Florida, in an attempt to try to maybe get some late camaraderie and some magic rolling, decided to go to a strip club and hang out all night, and then they get bounced and get swept in 4. And I was really happy about all that because after watching literally the first period of game 1, I said at the end of this game, I'm betting Tampa to win by a sweep. Now, things have completely flipped around since that moment. We've seen this Florida team really buckle down over the last couple of seasons since that moment. And now Florida is the top team, and they use that hashtag time to hunt for a reason because they know they're going to be hunted once they get in the playoffs, especially after what they did last year. But I don't see Tampa Bay hanging around with Florida at all. I think Florida, and that's a vicious rivalry. And I think those guys who are still around from that team a couple years ago, that's a bit of a revenge spot, even 2-3 years later. So I think that could be a troublesome spot. Boston's one of those teams that we saw them choke last year in the first round, could easily run back and do it again. And the Rangers and Tampa have always played each other tight, especially in the postseason. So it's not the worst look in the world price-wise, but I just really think it's going to be hard for that Tampa team. They've played a lot of playoff hockey. They have a goalie who can steal you not only games, but steal you an entire series in Vasilevsky. But I just don't trust that core group to really be able to just gird it up and get things rolling again, come playoffs time. Like I said, missing Sergachev is going to be huge. If Hedman's not completely 100%, now they are weaker on that back end, which means Vasilevsky has to face more shots. Keep in mind, Vasilevsky, there's certain things that haven't quite gotten back, and it's going to be a while with coming off of that back surgery. It's a guy who has remained quite healthy and played a lot of minutes, not just in the playoffs, but just in the regular season as well. You just wonder about the wear and tear. And if he goes down for any reason, now you're in the playoffs with Jonas Johansson. Good luck. So, Tampa kind of scares me in that spot. Or at least having a ticket on Tampa would scare me in that spot, even at 11-1. But it makes sense. If they can get out of the first round, I just think that's going to be tough for them to do with the teams that they could be drawing.
Right. All right. Well, I think that'll land well amongst the ears of the Panthers fans in the chat. Jordan there, Panthers only chat. Charles saying so money, don't be scaring us like that. Tampa is the boogeyman. Well, hopefully Alex was able to calm you guys down.
Yeah, we're getting our Luongo Cup. It's gonna be Vancouver, Florida final.
Oh man, that would be so
money. All right, well, that'll do it for today's show. Let's wrap up here with the final picks. Everything that we've got for tonight's games. We do have 3 best bets, even in the 2 games there. 2 in the Vegas St. Louis game. We're going to take the regulation time draw plus 334 between Vegas and St. Louis, as well as the under 6 minus 105. And our only other bet of the night here, the Kings Canucks regulation time draw plus 316. So 3 best bets for you guys for tonight's games. Make sure to hit that like button on today's stream. If you haven't already, subscribe here to the channel. Turn on notifications as well. If you want to go track all the picks, you can do so in the BetStamp app in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. So make sure to check that out. But thanks so much again to everyone who tuned in here today. Alex, so money. Thank you guys for taking the time. As always, we do appreciate it. We'll see you guys back here throughout the remainder of the week. To everyone in the chat, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time for more picks and previews. Enjoy the games tonight, and good luck on your bets.